What's up, guys? It's Migs from Market Open. I'm sitting here trying to fight off a case of FOMO. As you can see, I have RENN pulled up on the screen. I got the 15-minute chart and the 5-minute chart pulled up, and I kind of almost want to get in it, but one of the reasons I decided not to, A, it's 11:30. B, the volume on the SPY has considerably gone down. It's just kind of starting to go sideways. It was very strong this morning, but it's starting to go sideways now. And as you can see, it has a lot of wicks up at the top, meaning that there's a lot of resistance up there, so it doesn't have a lot of room to move up. But it's just that the pattern itself is one of the patterns that I trade all the time. It's a bull flag, basically. On the 15-minute chart, it looks really good. The 9's coming up on it. It's crossing VWAP. It's probably going to end up throwing a doji. I would get in it right here at the break of the high of this candle. But I've missed a lot of, what's it called? Missed a lot of profits this morning. And there's no nicer way to put it, but SCG kicked my ass. At one point, I was up $300 on SCG, and as you can see on here, I'm down $125 or $100.25 now on it. So, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I gotta try and stay disciplined and remember that I have these rules that I have to follow. Now, let's get started. So, obviously, the first trade on here, 932 was SCG. So, let's see here. Go back to 5-minute chart and 1-minute chart. So SCG I got in right at 932. So this is the 1-minute chart here. I got in right here at the break of 48. As you can see, the first candle came up, hit 48, and it tried to sell off for a second. It held the 47.80. And as soon as I went long, as soon as it crossed 48, I ended up getting it a little late. I got a really bad fill on it actually, so unfortunately I was risking, instead of risking $100, I was actually risking $200 now because I got such a bad entry. I ended up doing a market order, unfortunately, but as you can see, this candle just went for straight 40 cents. I only caught it halfway through. But I ended up holding it, and as you can see here in this very next candle, it ended up going all the way to 49.40. I was up a few $100s, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it's gonna end up ripping today. So this is what I was thinking when that first happened. Okay, I think it's got a good daily chart. So SCG. So this is my lines that I ended up drawing this morning when I saw SCG was gapping up. So it was gapping up somewhere up here. Actually, I believed it was above this. So yeah, so it opened up here right around the 47 mid mark. And so I saw that we had all of this to go up till about $50. So we have this window of opportunity. So if it was just going to rip up just that very first candle, I was like, okay, cool. I'll just let it keep going because, a lot of the times that does happen. So, but as you can see in the very next candle, I actually ended up taking the 300 partial at 48.82. Considerable amount of profit. I think it was only like 150 or something like that. But it just kept falling and falling and falling. I thought it was going to catch the 9 here. It did, but then it just kept falling further, and then I just sold off the rest of it. I think I ended up selling the rest of it for a little bit of a loss. Now, this is where emotion started to kick in, and I was just kicking myself. I was up so much money, and I just gave it all away. So, as you can see on here, let's see here, 100. I bought another 100 right at 48.30. I thought it was going to bounce. It did bounce a little bit, but then it sold off. Let's see here. Let me walk you through. I'm going to walk you guys through all my SCG trades first, and then we can talk about the other ones because this thing was such a pain today. 250 right at, let's see, where's the last where I sold it off? SCG right here, 47.82. So let me go back to the 5-minute chart here. What time was that at? That was at 10:06. Probably took that on the 5-minute. Alright, so right around, yep, right here. So right here in this candle, I got in right at 47.82. I thought it was going to break. I thought it was going to, well, it did break above VWAP, so I got it somewhere around here. I thought it was just going to keep climbing up. Because if a stock sells off and it's gapping up, it usually just curls back up. So as soon as it breaks VWAP, I usually would get in it, or some sort of candle wick above VWAP. So I was anticipating the break of this candle right here, and that didn't happen. So as you can see, it just kind of, it sold off. I held, let's see here. I think around here I unloaded half the shares. If I would have stuck with my initial position, I probably would have been fine. I could have been up here. But that didn't end up happening, unfortunately. So actually, I sold half. I believe I sold half. Yeah, so I sold half and half, and I ended up taking another loss. I believe that was, it wasn't a big loss. I think it was maybe like $50 or so. Now, the last trade I had on SCG was right, let's see here, 200 shares right here at 48. So my initial entry, I knew that it was going to be above the break of this candle right here, but I ended up catching it a little bit late. I got it 47.96. No big deal, because I knew that the whole number 48 was there. So if you guys have ever seen an ABCD pattern, so it's a big hump, a little hump, and your entry would be as soon as it passes the little hump right here. So that's something I can cover later on down. If you guys do have questions and you don't know what an ABCD pattern is, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below and I can explain it. But basically, the entry would be here, and it broke the whole number. So I was like, all right, great. It's above VWAP, it's above the 9. It should be all right. So I held it for a while, and I let it pull back. I watched it hold the 9 here and moved up my stop. I added another 100 shares, added another 100, added another 100 as it broke 48 here, and I moved up my stop. I moved it all the way up to 47.75 here, and it actually ended up kicking me out right there. So actually my stop was right at VWAP. So I put it at like 47.78-ish or so. So it flashed down real fast. It kicked me out. And as you can see, it's actually starting to head a little bit higher. But obviously this 48 line is a lot of resistance, and it's kind of going up and down on it. So that whole number I just don't trust. So I went on SCG from being up $300 to now I'm down $104. Very unfortunate, but it happens. I have those rules, and I obviously did not pay attention to them today, or just that one. If I lose more than 2 times on a single stock, I will just leave it alone. So we can talk about some of those rules. Hopefully, I don't break too many of them. It's just I don't like to have to go back and recap and look back on a stock that I had absolutely no reason to be in. I mean, I definitely had a reason to be in the stock, and I would take this trade if it came up again. So I don't regret getting in it. It's just the only thing I regret is not selling a partial up here, or maybe selling the whole thing. I was up probably 3 times the amount that I was trying to risk, and that was way more than I needed. I should have just gotten rid of all of it. But you can always look back on it and say, oh, I should have done this, whatever. But it happens. Lesson learned. All right, so now we'll go to the next trade. I took a trade. This was actually one of my main candidates. SCG and RENN were one of my main candidates today. I took REN right here. I don't even have to look at the time because I can tell you I took this entry right here, right above the 14 line. So you have a whole number, you have a pullback to the 9, you have VWAP, and you have the 9 both supporting it. So I took an entry right here right at 14. Obviously, a lot of people were looking at it as well because it ripped up right after that. I sold 150 shares right at 14.42, and I sold the other 100 at 14.36. I ended up making $99 on that. The market has been very strong today. Yeah, it's actually still relatively strong. It hasn't even filled the gap from yesterday. So we're probably gonna have a pullback here within the next couple days, but they're saying that it's a just the January effect. Basically, it's just a lot of rallying right now during this time of the year. So I'm just kind of going with the trend. Man, my seat keeps going lower. There we go. All right. So that was my trade on RENN. Now the other trade that I took was on Nvidia. Nvidia has been on a tear today. So as you can see, Nvidia gapped up, but Nvidia is one of those stocks that gaps up every single day. It gaps up or it gaps down according to the market. But since we're in this whole January effect right now, it went up, from 204 to 210 here now. So it's been doing considerably well as some of the other semiconductors are actually doing very well, like INTC. It was gapping up this morning. It was gapping down. That's right. Actually, no, this was one of my. I was actually expecting this thing to go up, which actually it did at the very beginning of the day. I marked out my level right here at a major moving average right here, and I was expecting it just to bounce off of, because Intel is one of those companies that whenever it's cheap, people will scoop it up. Same thing with Apple, same thing with Walmart, same thing with IBM. GE, although it's been selling off for a little while now, but it's just one of those major companies that people will scoop up whenever it becomes cheap. But yeah, let's talk about the entry right here on NVIDIA. So I noticed that NVIDIA was ripping up, but usually when people call out NVIDIA in the chat room, I don't pay attention to it that much. Honestly, because it gaps up and it moves every single day a lot. Call it back. So it gaps up and it moves kind of a lot, but it's really dependent on the market. So let me click out of this. All right, so it's really all dependent on the market. So if the market's going up, NVIDIA's going up, I might take the trade. So that's kind of what happened today. It gave me a pretty good pattern right here. Let's see here. What did I get in at? I got in at 208.04. So as you can see, it basically quadruple tapped actually, the 208 mark. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be a flat top breakout. Now my stop was a whole $1, so I actually only ended up buying 100 shares of it. I rode it up all the way to, what did I sell it at? Somewhere around 209, 208.87. So I wanted to get to the 209, but during that time the market actually started going, it started pulling back a little bit. So like I said, NVIDIA is kind of dependent on what the market is doing. So when it started pulling back, NVIDIA will probably take a minute or two, and then it'll start going down with the market as well. So during that time, I was like, okay, well, I'll take my profits and I'll get out. But since all these semiconductors have been just ripping, and it actually came up all the way to 210, I could have gotten 2-1, but I wasn't chancing it with the market actually starting to go down. And that was the last trade. I actually ended up only $77 up for the day, but it could have been a lot worse. I could have been in red. Actually, let's check on let's check on this real quick. Just want to see if it's doing anything. No, not yet. By the time you guys watch this, watch the ticker RENN and see if it actually comes back on the bull flag. So the entry would be 1460. The high is 1465. The entry would be 1466. So let's just see if it happens. I'm not going to take it just because of the time of the day and what I was discussing earlier. It's just there's a lot of wicks up here that I'm not very comfortable with. But either way, that, and actually I think the market's actually starting to pull back a little bit. So not going to chance it. I'll just take my small profits for today. I'll live to fight another day, and we'll just start again tomorrow. Well, either way, if you guys have any questions, I know I probably covered a lot of different topics today, but I just wanted to do a quick market recap for you guys. If you guys do have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below, and make sure to join the Notify Squad. Just click the little bell below, and it'll tell you every time I upload a new video. And make sure also to join our free Facebook group. It's been growing very, very, very fast. It's a lot of like-minded people that we're just posting up tickers, ideas. There's different investors, swing traders, day traders. There's tons of different financial people, just analysts, people that are bankers, people that just stay at home and trade. There's all different types of people in there. So make sure to join if that's something that benefits you. The link will be down below. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow.